Okay, we're live. Woohoo! All right, so it looks like no one's watching the live stream yet, but it will show me when they are. So I guess we'll just get started. So thank you everyone for being here. It means so much that you're all here and supporting me. It's amazing. And also showing up for yourselves. It's not about me. It's about you. So recognize that it's a huge deal that you took the time out of your night tonight to show up. And I'm so grateful and honored to be with you here tonight. So most of you are on this call because you want to make 2015 the best year ever, right? You want to do things differently, you want to make this year really count, and you want to up-level your life in some way. So you've probably set goals before that you haven't accomplished. So, you know, it happens. We're all not perfect. We're human. And because you want a solution and you want to find out how goal setting, which sounds so tedious and boring, can actually be really fun. So you want to be clear. Hold on. Real quick. If you don't have your microphone muted, I think there's one person. Courtney, do you have your microphone muted?
It says muted at the top, but I've never used this one before. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Hold on, let me see if I can mute you, just so there's no, like, reverb noise. Okay. Okay. I don't think I can hear you now. If you say something. Okay, good. Not that I don't want to hear you all, but just background noise. Okay, we'll open it up later. So, where was I? You want to really get clear about what it is that you want, and you want an action plan to guarantee that you'll get the results that you're looking for. So I just want you to kind of start to think about what it is that you really want and what's preventing you from getting that. So my intention for you today is that you reflect back and realize how incredible you are and how far you've come in just 12 months, and to understand why traditional resolutions don't work and haven't worked for you in the past, and to learn a new way and an effective and better way that makes it fun and actually works. So my intention is to challenge you to come up with 10 big goals. I know that sounds really daunting right now, that absolutely light you up and that you'd be more than proud, totally ecstatic to have accomplished 12 months from today. So I intend that you create and follow through on some action steps to propel you into action toward these goals, and to create mini successes along the way to really help you lock in that action. And finally, my intention is that you have the resources that you need to use throughout the year when these things get tough, or you experience any blocks, or when you get stuck. So by the end of this call, you will understand all of these things and have a clear list of 10 incredible goals and a much better sense of what it is that you want, complete with an action plan to start creating aligned action toward each devotion or goal that you're setting tonight for yourself. So you will feel a sense of clarity around your year and what you're moving toward creating that you've never experienced before. You will feel totally empowered and prepared to take action, and you will feel a sense of greater calm and ease instead of the stress that typically accompanies working toward a big goal. And the highest value of what I'll be teaching you today lies in the moments that you'll feel resistant to what I'm saying, or resistant to the change. So resistance is an interesting thing, because when it happens, we know that we're on the verge of a huge breakthrough. We just have to allow ourselves to open that door and walk through it. So don't be afraid to go big today, and know that even if you've heard something before, you're a new person in this moment, and I'm willing to bet that being reminded of whatever you already knew will create the space for something new and absolutely beautiful to emerge. I'm so excited to share this with you, and each of you will learn and create something totally different, which is great, and this will give you some understanding and insight into why you might feel a little stuck or be spinning your wheels in some area of your life. And awareness is key, because awareness creates the motivation to make a change, and that's why we're here, to constantly grow and thrive and change. And in fact, everything I do is based around this idea of constant growth, renewal, change, and total thriving. So if you want to play full out today, I invite you to share your progress with me on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram handle is @ecassel, and my website is right below. I think I have my thing on, right? Hold on, let me double check. I should have had my lower third on, but I don't. Hold on. You'll know my website in a sec. Okay. Okay. So there it is. So there's my website. You can go there and find my Facebook page if you don't have it already. And if you'd prefer to email me questions or your progress, if it's super private, that's great too. I love to understand how I can better serve you. So super quickly, just a bit about me. I believe that the world is an incredibly abundant place and that we all have access to that abundance if we choose to tap into it. I believe that everyone has a deeper purpose and that it's typically something we always tend to come back to again and again in our lives. I believe that everyone has the ability to change and that absolutely anything is possible. And I believe that we are all powerful co-creators of our own life experience. I deeply value authenticity, sisterhood, synchronicity, clarity, and action. And as a life coach and dream weaver, I work one-on-one with ambitious women all over the world to support them in creating the clarity, aligned action, synchronicity, and sisterhood that they crave to live their dream lives and launch their dream businesses. And I'm 100% committed to the success of the women I work with, and I help them to step into their true feminine power and take their big leap to live the life they've always dreamed of. So if you're ready to get started creating the last 12, celebrating the last 12 months and planning for the next 12, then let's dig in. So celebrating the you've become in 2014, I'd like you to think back to December of 2013. So where were you? What were you doing? Who were you with? Where were you living? Maybe you had a different job or something like that. So think back to where you were December 2013, about 13 months ago, 12 and a half. And I'd like for you to write down, just jot down a couple of things that, the way that you would describe yourself in that state. So in December of 2013, what kind of person were you? What did you think about yourself? That kind of stuff. So if you could just write a quick list for yourself of the things that you thought about yourself at that time, or how you would describe yourself looking back. Would you say you were very confident, or would you say you were a little insecure? Maybe you were really unclear about what your life path is, or maybe you were not sure what to do about a job, or maybe you just graduated from college. So once you've done that, I'd love for you to make a quick free flow kind of mind dump list of all the things that you've accomplished in 2014. So in the last 12 months, write down everything you can think of that you've accomplished. It can be big or small. It can be intrinsic, extrinsic, anything. Nothing is too small, so write down everything. Maybe it's like, I walked my dog every day. That's a big deal. Or even like you had a random act of kindness that you completed for someone. Or it can be as big as, I quit my job and did something new. So just keep writing. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Okay. So once you've written down all the accomplishments that you've completed in 2014, I want you to read that list back to yourself as if you were reading it about another person or another woman. And I want you to read it back maybe you could do this actually another time too to make it more effective with a partner and have them read it back to you as if they were reading it about someone else. And then I want you to write down a couple adjectives that you would use to describe this person that you're reading these things about. So someone who's accomplished all the things in 2014, just read them back to yourself, and what do you think of that person? Okay. So now that you've done that, I'd like for you to jot down the answer to this question. Who have I become in the past 12 months? So over the course of 2014, who have you become, and how did you step into your power in a new way, or how did you show up differently this year? And how does that change your trajectory for this coming year of 2015? Who are you stepping into that year as? What kind of person are you right now, given what you've accomplished in the past 12 months? So if you just write down a couple words that might describe the way that you feel about who you've become. Then I'd like for you to consider, what did you do to achieve all that you've achieved in 2014? So just jot down a few things that come to mind. Maybe you were more open. Maybe you were more present or mindful. Maybe you did more yoga. Maybe you focused more on self-care. What allowed you to create that result and create that shift in your life from where you were last year at this time and where you are this year?
Hey, Em, I'm sorry. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so after we write down how we would describe the person we wrote about in 2014, then we write down adjectives about us. Sorry, in 2014 as opposed to 2013, right? Like, what's the step before the step you just said?
Hold on. Let me see.
Sorry.
So first, you want to write down where you were last year at this time. So, you know, that's
2013. Yeah.
right. Okay. So once you do that, then write down all of the accomplishments that you've had. Then you want to look back at those accomplishments and say, okay, if I were reading this about someone else, how would I feel about that person? What would I think of them? And then once you've done that, did that answer your question, or was there something else?
Well, wasn't there a step after that we just did? Sorry. It was we just wrote.
Yeah, who have I become in the past 12 months?
Okay, sorry. I got it.
That's okay. I like the interaction. It's more fun than me like talking at everyone. So, okay. And so then I want you to think about, what did you do differently to achieve all that you've done in 2014? So what did you do differently? How did you show up in a new way? And then once you've done that, I'd like to know, why is all of this goodness worth celebrating? So why is your past year worthy of celebration, and why is it important that we celebrate it? So I'm guessing by this time you kind of are seeing the huge shift that's occurred in 2014 right before your eyes, and you didn't even notice it as much until now, probably, because you were just kind of like going through your life and not really paying attention to like, how far have I come? You know, like that's not really something that we tend to think about that often. Maybe some of us do, but I doubt that we really give ourselves the 10-minute time period to really dig into that and see what that means for us, and really look at how far we've come. So I know 2014 was a hugely transitional and transformational year for so many of us, and it definitely wasn't the smoothest year, but it definitely left me feeling like I'm super ready to be catapulted into 2015. And from all the women I've spoken to lately, it seems like the common feeling is that 2015 feels like a huge opportunity. It feels really expansive, and it feels like we finally get to experience the results of all the hard work that we've put in over the last year, over the last 12 months. So what do we do with all of that incredible motivated energy? Well, you've made a huge commitment today by showing up for this call, and so for that, I just want you to celebrate, or I just want to celebrate you for a moment, because you are so special and you are destined for success. And no matter what 2014 looked like for you, good, bad, ugly, you're here now, and that's truly what matters. It's not about the past, it's about how we choose to show up and experience the present moment, because in the present moment lies opportunity for transformation and growth. We're looking forward because that's where we're heading. So that's the new territory we have the power to make incredible for ourselves and for the world. So we always have these intentions starting out, a new year, right? And everyone's talking about their New Year's resolutions, and by the end of the year we end up looking back at them, if they haven't been like discarded or totally lost, and we realize we haven't followed through on anything, and if we did, it might have just been by chance. So I'm pretty sure we've all been there, so let's start with what's wrong with that process so we can create something that does work and does stick, and that will allow you to create results you want to create in 2015. So there are two main reasons why resolutions don't stick. Number one, they're not really important to you long term, so they're not really connected to your priorities or to the bigger vision you have for your life. Contrary to popular belief, goal setting is not step one of setting an empowered goal that you will actually follow through on. The first step is really creating the ultimate vision for the life you would like to see happen, and so that you can have the clarity about what's important to you and then reverse engineer how you're going to get there. The second reason that resolutions in the traditional sense don't work is that we lose the connection to the reason it really matters so much to us. So we don't get clear on the why of the goal, and which is the motivating purpose behind the goal, and this can be in the form of a feeling. So how will you actually feel when you achieve this goal? And typically we're actually chasing a feeling, not just the tangible result of following through on something. So I'm sure this has happened for you before. You set a goal and you start to take action toward it, and then you end up quitting halfway through because you're actually not getting any reward from the follow-through. So in other words, you're not feeling proud or excited or accomplished by working toward the goal, and you lose sight of why it was important to you in the first place. And if you can't get reconnected to that purpose, then you'll give up. So an example I think of when I think of this concept is that you might be chasing the babe, the bucks, and the boat. I think this is a Danielle Laporte quote, but you might be chasing those things, but you're never gonna, when you get there, right, you might feel totally empty and totally alone and sad, but you have the tangible items you want, you've completed the goal, but you don't feel anything, right? So that's not actually fulfilling, and we want to create goals that are fulfilling throughout the whole process and the end result. So how do we do that? So you'll need your journal for this step. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd love for you to just jot down some responses. So remember, there will be a recording of this call afterwards, so if you miss anything or you want to come back to this, you certainly can. Just take the time now to create the space for these ideas to come to the surface for you so that you can get a really clear idea of what you see your ideal situation being 12 months from now. So 12 months from now, at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, who do you want to be? So who is the person that you want to be? How would you describe that? So who do you want to be? The next question is, what do you want to accomplish in 12 months from now? What would make you totally happy and excited to have accomplished 12 months from today? So you're sitting in your where you're sitting in 12 months, 2016, January 2016, and what do you want to have accomplished? What would feel really good for you to be able to say that you've accomplished? The next one is, what makes you happy? What makes you really, really happy? In what moment do you lose track of time and you just feel utterly blissful? Maybe you're by yourself, maybe you're with other people, maybe you're doing some activity, maybe you're thinking about something. What makes you really happy? Okay, the next question is, what do you think is your purpose in this life? And I know that sounds like a big question, but here's a hint. Your purpose is whatever you say it is. So you get to choose in this moment right now. What do you think is your purpose in life? Why are you here? What's the bigger picture? What are you meant to contribute? What are you meant to give? What are you meant to share? How do you show up? Maybe it's to make connections. Maybe it is to share a certain type of knowledge. Maybe it's to lift people up. What is it? What is your purpose? And what do you wish to be remembered for at the end of your life? What do you want your legacy to be? So after your time here, what would you like people to be saying about you or remember you for? What's the big contribution? What do you want people to know was most important to you? What would you like to be known for? What would you want people to say, oh my gosh, that is so her, or that is definitely something that she valued, or that was what she lived by, maybe. And what makes you feel good about yourself? What makes you feel really good about yourself? Maybe it's like a certain ability that you have, or a talent, or maybe it's a certain type of interaction with people. Maybe it's presenting something. Maybe it is interacting or being part of a team or leading a team. What makes you feel really good about yourself? When do you get that experience of being totally fulfilled? And finally, what areas of your life are of great importance, yet you believe you must keep yourself accountable to honor them? So maybe they don't come so easily or naturally to you, but you really, really value them, and you want to make sure that they stay a part of your life and are consistent for you. Okay. Rachel, just give me a shout and unmute yourself when you're ready. Rachel's going to be our little guinea pig volunteer for this part. So the next step is that we're going to create a priority statement, and this is the sort of like mission or purpose statement for you and for aligning your goals. So we're going to create 10 goals today that you're going to align with this priority statement to make sure that they actually matter to you. There are a couple other reasons why, but we'll talk about those. So Rachel, tell me, actually don't tell me, put a star next to the 5 areas that are most important to you that you've listed. So maybe they're like words that you've written down that seem to be like the highest value or your biggest priorities. And then once you've done that,
Okay. Oh, but thank you, Frozen.
identified as the most important in the same group.
Hold on, I missed part of that.
Sorry. So you've chosen 5, right, that are of most importance. Now I'd like you to narrow that list down to 3. And maybe the way that you do that is you either discard 2 completely, or you can combine a couple into a new word. So maybe like if you had kindness and giving, maybe that would look like compassion instead of 2 separate things.
Okay.
Okay. And what are your top 3?
Humor, leadership, and creativity.
Okay. And which is the most important, would you say?
That's hard. I guess, well, I wrote about humor the most, but I think leadership is maybe my most important.
Okay. So within leadership, you can still use humor, so that's good, and creativity. So let's say leadership is number 1. Oh, okay. So using leadership, I'd like you to complete the following responses with me. So, or the following statements with me. So the reason I have placed greatest importance on this area of my life, leadership, is because...
I think that I have the potential to do great things in my career and in my relationships, and it's something that I've kind of shied away from. And I don't want to. I want to shine my light.
Shine it, girl. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I will honor my number 1 priority by doing my best to...
I guess put myself out there more, be confident in my work and my relationships, and achieving the goals that I set for myself.
Okay. So if you could imagine for a moment that you had an identical twin who was fully living and honoring your number 1 priority of leadership, what actions would she be limiting?
Would she be limiting?
What would she be doing less of that maybe you're doing more of right now?
She would watch less Netflix.
Everybody's like, yeah, I get that.
It's hard for her because Friends is on now, but she would limiting. She wouldn't beat herself up over things that she considered mistakes in her work when others didn't consider them that. I guess just overall less critical, less black and white.
Okay. Beautiful. Powerful. Love it. And what actions would she be taking that are totally aligned with her number 1 priority of leadership?
She would be networking, getting involved in professional organizations, being confident in her job, which would be at the Smithsonian. She would be, I guess confidence is key.
Beautiful. Anything else that she would be like actively doing on a daily basis, maybe in terms of like self-care or relationships, anything?
She would be training for a half marathon. And she would be going to yoga, and she would be cooking dinner for her friends.
Beautiful. Okay, so I love how you went from Netflix to networking. So parallel. Okay,
I love
so let's create your priority statement. So sort of like your mission statement or purpose statement for 2015 using what we just came up with. So this will take the form of my number one priority is to blank by doing blank so that I can blank. So my number one priority is to
be a leader in my professional and personal life.
by doing
Self-care
mhm,
and working to be more confident, I guess. Learning also.
okay, let's use networking too
Okay.
because I'm just seeing that in front of me. By doing self-care, networking, and
I don't know.
learning to be more confident so that I can blank.
So that I can
So in other words, sorry, go ahead.
reach a part of me that I know I have that I've been suppressing.
Beautiful. Perfect. I love that. Okay, so your priority statement is, my number one priority is to be a leader in my professional and personal life by doing self-care, networking, and learning to be more confident so that I can reach a part of me that I know I've been suppressing.
I like it.
Actually, let's change that a little tiny bit just to make it, okay, so that I can reach a part of me and shine my light brightly to my fullest potential. How about that? That's a little more positive bent. Okay, beautiful. So the point here is that we can take the action to achieve any goal, but not feel successful or happy. So if it's not aligned with what matters most to us, and if it's not, then we lose momentum as well because we aren't being positively reinforced in any way. So we identify the priority, the value, the action, and the resulting purpose. So what do you actually gain from following through? And what are you moving towards? So that's sort of your priority statement purpose. So does everyone have that? Does anyone have any questions about creating theirs, or is that pretty clear? Give me a thumbs up if you're good, my people who are live. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So using that, we'll move into the next phase, which is goal setting. So I want you to write down, you can start writing now if you want, if you can think of anything, but I just want to go through a couple things, a couple reminders and housekeeping stuff. So I want you to think big here. I want you to keep a few things in mind. So keep in mind that nothing is too big, right? Nothing's too big. The universe doesn't recognize magnitude of a desire, only whether it exists or not. So you can put something really tiny out there, or you can put something really big out there, and you're going to have the same support, right? So the universe is only recognizing whether it exists or not. It doesn't say, oh, that's too big. It just says, does it exist? Okay, I'm going to conspire with you to make it happen. Okay, the next thing I want you to keep in mind is that they should be a stretch. You should make them a little tough. This is a challenge for you. Don't list the things that you already know will happen or that you've already mastered, because that's not growth and that's not the point. So one of my favorite quotes is, if you're not growing, you're dying. So let's make 2015 a year of forward momentum instead of stagnant or retrospective energy. I also want you to think from this scope. If everything is perfectly aligned, if you have all the connections, support, education, resources, and opportunities, and if the stars are perfectly aligned for you, then you will make these 10 things possible in 12 months. I also want you to make sure that you have total control over these goals. So you can't set a goal for someone else or choose something over which you don't have any control, or say, well, when this person does this, then I will do this, right? Because you don't know if that's ever going to happen. So make sure that you have total control. Now, you might get a little tripped up around number 5 or 6, and that's okay and completely normal. You'll really have to put your thinking cap on a little and dig a little deeper within yourself. So if you're getting stuck, try asking yourself, what do I really want and what emerges when I create the space for it to do so? So many times we don't give ourselves the mental space to even consider how limitless our possibilities are. So it's normal to feel some resistance around this. Also, if you get stuck, try scanning over every area of your life. So do you have 5 goals in finances and none in movement or physicality or health or relationships or personal growth or spirituality? Try to keep it a little balanced. And if you really get stuck, try asking yourself, wouldn't it be nice if in 12 months from now this happened in this area of my life? So maybe if you're getting really stuck, you would think, wouldn't it be nice if in 12 months from now I moved to San Diego, and that would be in the category of, personal growth, maybe. What is that doing? Oh, it's Rachel. Sorry, it's okay. I thought it was mine. Okay, so just start writing. I'm going to give you about maybe like 5 more minutes to just tune in and get to work with your goals. They don't have to be perfect. You can always come back to them later, and we're actually going to come back to them in our next phase. So just get them out of your mind and onto your paper and let them free flow out of you. I love watching everyone write. Like, I know where you are with this. I know how much more time you might need. So as you're writing, just keep thinking, what do you dream of happening? What will you make sure happens? What is non-negotiable? What would you like to make non-negotiable in your life? This is really about creating a habit. So when you set goals and intentions for yourself, you are going to start tackling them, right? Because it feels so obvious and so easy. Whenever you're done, could you just unmute yourself and let me know? I don't want to spend too much time here if we don't have to. You're good? Okay. Looks like some people are still writing. Okay.
I'm still writing, but you can go on without me. I'll catch up. It takes
Okay. Okay. Would anyone like to volunteer for the next phase to align the goals with your priority statement?
Am I allowed to volunteer?
Yes, please.
Of course.
I can't help it. I just love you. Okay. Okay. So I'd like for you to take me through your goals one by one, but first I want to know, what is your priority statement? So what did you write down for that?
Okay, so my number 1 priority is creating social change through theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do this by collaborating with, or by collaboration, I think I want to make it really big, by collaboration, confidence, more confidence in myself, and connection, collaboration, confidence, and connection. They're all C's. What?
And
I didn't finish the last part. I didn't finish. I like stopped there.
Okay. What was the last? Let me just. Okay. So.
I did the 3, but I didn't.
Okay. So that I can would be the next part.
Oh. So that I can build a. I don't know. So that I can build a reputation in Chicago theater. So I can build. They can hear you, babe. Stop talking. So that so that I'm contributing to Chicago theater.
Okay.
No, wait. Put the social change first at the end, right? So I can't. Sorry.
You're too wood. I love it. It's so fun. I missed this, so this is fun. Okay. Maybe we should say, what is the deeper intention behind creating social change? What is the value?
Well, I think that I've just come to realize that I want to be doing social theater and I want to be doing documentary theater, and I've kind of come to terms with that, and I want to really push my way into that, what that looks like in the Chicago theater scene, and become someone that people recognize as, oh, that's like someone you can go to that has that interest, or like that's someone you would want to collaborate with in that way. So, I mean, I think that the value obviously is the education, of it for myself and for the people that would be involved in the project, and then the audience members that would be viewing it.
What value does it reflect? Like, what are you valuing by valuing these things? Like, what is the cohesive actual value and priority? Is it significance? Do you want to feel significant? Like, how do you want to feel about creating social change? Like, what do you want the effect to be on you? Like, what is it you want to feel significant? You want to feel like you're creating contribution?
Yeah, I guess significant would be one. I want to feel like a master of my craft in a way.
Perfect. That makes more sense.
Okay. It's hard because it's inevitably something about other people, so it's hard to do you know what I mean? Yeah. Focus it. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
So your number one priority is mastery by collaboration, confidence, and connection, so that you can create social change through theater.
Perfect.
Yay! Okay. Okay, so our next step then, could you take me through your 10 goals?
Do they have to be related to the priority? Because these are not. I mean, some of them are, but some of them aren't.
No, it's okay. Just tell me, and then we'll go through. Okay.
So, the first one I wrote was fruits and veggies. So to just be more healthy and more physical, movement-wise, getting out and being more active. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is more active time within the city with Jack. So going out and experiencing the city more. So yeah, that's the second one. The third one's travel, being able to see my family this year, being able to see friends that are all over the place, and going on a trip with Jack. My fourth one is not doing a show in the theater community that I rent out a space and do a show that I've been asked to by a theater company, or that I've pitched to a theater company, and that they will cast and pay me to do.
Okay.
That's my fourth one. My fifth one is an internship at Victory Gardens Theater, this theater that I really like in Chicago. My sixth one is communicate more with my family, especially my brother, Grady. I miss him. Kind of really the seventh one is having more valued time with my friends that I've created. I've created like really cool friendships here in Chicago, but really like deepening them and like spending the time, the like conscious effort and time to hang out with people because I've become a hermit. The eighth one is less gossip and more positivity. This really kind of comes from the theater department at Chicago. It can get really, at my school, it can get really catty, and I want to stay away from that. The ninth one is graduate with honors and opportunity. So graduate knowing what the hell I'm going to do next. And 10 is save money in general. But yeah, we'll save money with Jack. Jack and I saving money.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So this sounds like a good starting place. Let's go back to goal number 1 and let's make it 25% more specific. So you said fruits and veggies, you want to be healthier, you want to move more. What does that look like?
Looks like Zumba. It looks like going to Zumba a lot.
If you
like
could get more specific.
3 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
It looks like eating more at home and eating planned cooked meals instead of last minute, I don't have anything to eat, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Mm-hmm. I've been really lazy lately and just have been like calling Ubers and Lyfts, and I really just need to like walk more and use public transportation more and not spend that money. So that's a part of being like more active too. So walk more through the city, Zumba 3 to 5 times a week, making more meals at home.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me just ask you really quickly before we get too much into making goal specific. Is there one goal that you feel would make the others easier for you to accomplish, or would kind of like invite the other goals to more easily happen?
Yeah. If I got an internship at Victory Gardens, I think that would open opportunity to do my own show within a theater company, and then that would lead me to be able to kind of, because I think like something I've been struggling with is just finding like what my niche is in Chicago, and just like being within, having a really good community, or being within like really good communication with the people that work at the theaters that I really like. And so through doing Victory Gardens, I would hopefully create like an arsenal of, networking, whatever, people, and opportunity would come to me from that.
Okay.
When I graduate.
Perfect.
Oh, hot.
So, let's see. Okay. So, in terms of your priority statement, your number 1 priority is mastery by collaboration, confidence, and connection so that you can create social change through theater. Does this goal feel very aligned with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in what way? Can you just like, I see it, and I know you see it, but can we just like draw it out and make it more specific? How it ties in? Or what that goal, what achieving that goal allows you to do?
The internship at Victory Gardens allows me to do?
Yeah.
That specific goal? Okay. Okay, so Victory Gardens is known for its new plays and its new works. Mm-hmm. It's also known for doing shows that everything's kind of centered around like gender, race, like social issues. Mm-hmm. So around being in, like just being around those people and being in that space of an internship, like that's gonna feed my mind more, I think, and feed like what I want to do more. Also to just being around, professors that work at Victory Gardens that are also my teachers at school will kind of bridge the gap between like, oh, I have her in class and I also have her in my office every day as an intern at this theater. Do you know what I mean? And that will help with like putting me at the forefront of people's minds that are going to potentially give me jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is this right? I don't know. I'm just saying things.
So I just want to get you very specific with how it ties into your priority statement and the fact that it does, right?
Well, Victory Gardens would be a master place to be a master in social change theater. Do you know what I mean? It would be the place to do it.
So now let's turn that into an affirmative statement. So let's say in the first person as though it's already happened. So would that look like, I am an intern at Victory Gardens?
Mm-hmm. I'm a literary intern at Victory Gardens specifically. Because literary interns read news plays and stuff, and that's what I want to do.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so does everyone see what we did there? We kind of took the goal, made sure it aligned with the priority statement, and then we said, okay, let's turn it into a statement as if it's already happening and make it specific. So I am a literary intern at Victory Gardens is different than I want to be an intern at Victory Gardens, right? It's a lot different, and it holds a different weight, and it holds a different energy. So when you have that affirmation, you can always go back to it. And also, it creates the, what is it called? It creates the information for your reticular activating system to filter everything that would help support that belief that you already are a literary intern at Victory Gardens, so the things will happen for you, or like you'll meet someone, or you know what I mean, you'll be looking for those things. It's kind of like if you were driving down the street and you were really hungry, you would see all the restaurants, but your friend who's sitting next to you is really looking for a hot date, so she's just going to see the guys. She's not going to notice the restaurants. It's kind of like that, but that's literally what your brain does, because it's filtering the information that's important to you. So by saying, I am a literary intern at Victory Gardens, you are telling your brain to only look for the information because it's important to you that would support that belief. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's very clear. It's less muddied with all the crap I just said, essentially.
So then when you have a goal like, okay, I want to be healthier, I want to do Zumba 3 to 5 days a week, I want to eat planned and cooked meals at home, I want to, you know, walk more and use less public transportation and get more incidental exercise, then that aligns with your priority statement, and I'll tell you why. Being healthier helps you to do everything better, whether it's show up at your workspace, show up for your partner, show up for yourself in the way that you want to, that is aligned. Does that make sense? So you can kind of find the ties between every type of goal with this priority statement. Another thing like active time in the city with Jack, that could look like part of that would be going to shows and stuff that would support your mastery, right, in social change through theater. Anything that supports collaboration, confidence, and connection, right? You're exercising more is going to make you feel more confident, so that supports your priority statement. So it's really about getting really clear on the goal, number one, getting very specific. Number two, aligning it with the priority statement, and if it doesn't align, make it more specific so that it does. So, for example, for active time in the city with Jack, you might say, active time, I'm spending more active time in the city with Jack, 50% of which is to see shows in the theater community in Chicago. Is that clear? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that, or are you having difficulty aligning with your priority statements? No. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So then, wait, that was the wrong part. Let me see where I am in my notes. Okay. Okay, so then you choose. The goal that we chose was your big goal, your internship at Victory Gardens, which would make everything else easier, right? Or would make everything else kind of fall into place. So we're going to call that your Empower goal. So that's your main goal, right? That's the big one. That's the one that's probably going to be the most difficult to accomplish, but that you want to make sure it happens so that everything else can happen easily, right?
Okay.
So that's not going to be like, oh, you know, let me find, which one would you think is the most, would be the most easy? Maybe like communication with your family would be the most easy one, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the most easy one. Instinctively, that's what we'll start with, right? We'll usually start with the easy thing and then knock it off our list. So we'll say, okay, well, I can get that done, right? I can call Grady once a week, no big deal, right? But that's not going to give you the positive reinforcement at the level that you need it to in the beginning of your goals to make give you that momentum for the rest of the year. So that's why we want to start with the Empower goal, because it's the most difficult yet most important. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'd like for everyone to choose the goal that's your Empower goal, so which one would make it easier for everything else to happen. And then I would like for you to, and you can do this a little later if you have to, because I know it's a longer process, but go through each goal, make it specific, turn it into an affirmative statement, and make sure that it aligns with your priority statement. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So could someone else please volunteer to share with me their Empower goal? You have to unmute yourself, Mom. There you go. Can we hear you? I can't hear you. You're still muted. Okay, now you're not muted, but I can't hear you. You're muted again. She's like cracking up. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Maybe your microphone isn't working. Anyone else want to volunteer? Wait, Stevie, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Mine is,
Hold on, you're a little delayed.
Okay, sorry.
okay, mine is be more conscientious.
Wait, hold on, Stevie, try again. Sorry.
Okay. My main goal is purchasing our first house and creating a home environment that I love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Beautiful. So what do you think are 3 steps that you could take this week to create movement toward that goal?
This week, let's see. Well, this week what's happening is we are going to find out probably next Monday. We did our other application for a mortgage and everything, so we should find out if that's going to go through and everything, which it should. So I don't know. I guess maybe getting really clear, with the whole idea of manifesting, really deciding what we're looking for, because I'm pretty open because I can see potential in a lot of different places and things, but maybe getting a little more clear about where we want to live exactly, kind of some requirements for the places we'll have to have and everything, narrow it down a little.
Mm-hmm. So maybe geographic location. Maybe you could also do a list of you and Anthony's kind of deal breakers. That doesn't sound right, but
yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say. What your main wants are from a place. You really want a big kitchen, or you don't really care having a small bathroom, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think a third thing that could be good is because obviously we're 23, almost 24 years old, so we aren't gonna be able to decorate it exactly how I want right away. So maybe make a priority list of the big pieces and kind of like how we're going to budget for them, and then, you know what I mean, so I can see really like what we're going to be able to accomplish like in the first year and everything.
Beautiful. Okay, and then so you said geographic location, decide on that. Decide on a priority list of your big pieces to furnish and how to budget for them. And then the second one, or the one before that one, was what I said?
Must-haves list, I think.
What was it? Sorry.
Must-haves.
Okay.
For both of us, not just me, because I usually just kind of overpower. It's like, I need to get his input.
Yeah. I do that sometimes. Okay. Beautiful. So your tasks are geographic location, make a priority list of the furniture pieces that are bigger that you want to budget for, and then make a list of must-haves for you and Anthony looking at a house. Great. Okay. So for everyone who's on the call, I'd like for you to snap a picture once you have all this done. Create like a piece of paper or something nice to look at with your empower goal at the top, so the big goal at the top, and then I want you to write the smaller goals underneath it in affirmative statements. And I want you to take a picture of it and post it on Facebook or Instagram or both, and tag me in that post so I can see that you've done it. And when you do this, you'll be automatically entered to win 3 free one-on-one coaching sessions with me this month to help you kickstart your year and be held accountable for taking aligned action on these goals and making them really stick. And I want to share a quote with you that I came across today about taking action, and it's by Amy Poehler. So here's the quote. Great people do great things before they are ready. They do things before they can do them. Doing what you're afraid of, getting out of your comfort zone, taking risks like that, that is what life is. You might be really good. You might find out something about yourself that's really special. And if you're not good, who cares? You tried something new. Now you know something about yourself. So the key is just start. That's the hardest part. We get so caught up in all of the things we have to do before we start that we end up not doing it or not doing anything, right? We get overwhelmed by the task list and then we just give up. So simply declaring your plan and your goal is a step toward success. If we never did anything until we knew what we were doing, we'd never do anything. We learn by doing, and so you don't wait to learn how to walk until you walk. You learn to walk by walking when you're a kid, right? You learn when you're like 1 year old. You learn by doing it. You learn by engaging. You don't learn by just like sitting there and then one day you get up and you magically can walk, right? You do the crawling and then you do the walking and you progress and you learn and you do and you engage, and that's where the results come. So apply the same principle here and just start. So just start on your goals, and I really want you to make, in the comments of the post that you post, I'd love for you to write the 3 action steps that you're committed to taking this week toward your big Empower goal. So when you come up against roadblocks in your goal process, or in your pursuit of a goal, that's okay, and it's inevitable. Just know that there's always a solution, and that's where you get to be creative and have a little fun. So I have a couple techniques for you to use to create a roadmap to your goals. So the first step is to take all these goals that you've just created, these 10 beautiful, huge goals, and just do a brain dump. Like, just take out your journal or notebook and just write down, like, choose one of the goals. Choose your Empower goal to start. Just write down all of the tasks that you'd have to complete that you can think of. Just free flow, write all the tasks that you need to complete to make this goal happen, big or small. The tasks, though, should be small enough that they wouldn't take more than a day to complete, or else they're too big and you can break them down further. So make sure that you're breaking them down into their, like, elemental form, so to speak, in terms of this action for your Empower goal. And then what you can do once you do that is to combine these tasks into different categories. So maybe you would create one list of things that you need to do now, one later, one during the accomplishment of the goal, and one at like the end of the goal, right? So like the final stretch. And another list for research. So anything that's learning, looking things up, interviewing people, further understanding anything, that's a separate list. Then you can break these tasks down into monthly, weekly, and daily to-do lists. So decide once you have all of your tasks, split them up into different categories for when you need to do them, whether it's now, later, during the goal, after the goal, and then you will know which months make sense based on your goal deadline to complete these different tasks. Okay. And I have a big secret to share with you about how to get these things actually done on your daily to-do list. Because I know we all have to-do lists like a mile long and then nothing ends up getting done, or we do like 2 things and then everything else is like, well, forget it, I don't have enough time today. So the way that you combat that problem is that you do the hardest you do the hardest task first thing in the morning. So much like, I think of this as like if you're getting up to go for a run, right? Like if I get up to go for a run and I don't just get out the door and go for a run, I'll come up with a million excuses why I can't go, and then I will never get out the door to go for a run, and it's not going to happen, right? So I think of it like that. So anything on your to-do list that's more difficult than the other items, you would just do that first thing in the morning so that it's a habit and it's more instinctual, and you'll never have as much energy to do it than you do first thing in the morning, because your energy just depletes over the day. You just get more tired, and then you go to sleep, and then nothing gets done. So do the most difficult task first. This is another super powerful habit that you can adopt because you'll never have more energy to do the task than first thing in the morning. So jump in and get it done. This habit of doing the hardest thing first really breeds concentrated focus and directed power, so it's really powerful. And I invite you to do that every single day. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed in this process, ask yourself where you're trying to control too much or where are you holding on too tight. So where are you trying to control? Where are you trying to like over-control a situation that you might not actually have control over, right? So when that happens, ask yourself, where am I trying to control? Or where am I holding on too tight? And then ask a question of the universe, and remember that you're not in this alone. The universe will always support you, and the answer will come. I do this a lot. When I'm kind of like writing my morning pages in my journal in the morning, I'll sometimes ask if there's an area where I'm feeling really stuck. Like, just ask, how will I get through this? Or how will I do this? Or what do I need to know to be able to do this? Or whatever it looks like. But that's really powerful too, because you kind of release your control and just let it be, and you're open to receiving, which is really powerful. Another way to make sure that these goals happen is to get someone else on board. So get an accountability partner, someone who's going to check in with you and make sure that you're doing it, or a coach if you don't yet have one. Declare your goals on social media even, because when you do that, it makes it more real. And other people can check in with you, follow up with you, ask you about it at any given moment. So you don't want to be the person who said, oh, well, that's not really happening anymore and I gave up. You just don't want to be that person. I already know that about every single person on this call. So does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? You have to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Nobody?
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah.
I, like, this whole time, like, I've been trying to, like, make my priority statement, like, more succinct. And I feel like if I just told you what I'm thinking, like, you could definitely help me.
Okay.
Because it sounds like, it doesn't sound right for what I mean. But basically, like, what I feel like this past year, like, I think on the inside, I've become, like, a lot truer version of myself and everything. So, like, my main priority is like to make my outside match my inside, and like making like big steps towards all these things I've been like thinking about and like talking about, and like I feel like pretty clear with what I want now. So it's like, I don't know, and so I have the first part, but I don't have the middle part, and I have the end part. Like I want to be able to share like my true self with others more, because I'm kind of like a little more introverted. I usually am like not that outgoing, so like I want to, I don't know, it's like one of the main things is like the whole reason like the house is so important to me is because I'm like an interior designer, and I want to be like a home shelter blogger, but like every home shelter blogger has their house tour section, and like part of me feels kind of like a joke because I haven't been able to do that, but now we're so close, and it's more just like putting the priority of I don't know, like the taking action part, but it seems vague to me, and I didn't know if you could help me.
Okay, so what's coming up for me when you say that is a value of alignment or authenticity.
That's a good word, authenticity. Yeah.
So does that fix it, or what?
Yeah, I think that's like the word. I make my outsides match my insides, like be a more authentic version of I think that's what I needed.
Okay. So what does the priority statement look like then if you add that in?
Okay. So my number one priority is to become a more authentic version of myself by like prioritizing, like how you always say, like filling yourself up first, and then actually like, so like filling myself up first, and then a lot of my goals were things with like connecting with other people, like meeting a friend for coffee or lunch or something, like at least twice a month, and strengthening relationships with my siblings. So it's like taking it outside of like the safe space of myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still having trouble wording it, I guess.
So filling yourself up first, would it be accurate, do you think, to say stepping out of your comfort zone and forming connections? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forming connections. That's good. So then I can share my true self with others. I think that helps. I'm just not good at making it succinct.
Or maybe strengthening relationships
Mm-hmm.
would be another way to say it, depending on the way that you're feeling about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Is that complete for you?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Sure. Does anyone else have any questions or comments, or want to share anything that you've kind of like that was surprising or interesting that came up for you, or just want to share your empowered goal with everyone to make it real?
Hello. So okay, I just wanted to share this. There's something that we say all the time in my acting classes that I think is just so awesome, and it like really translates to a lot of different things in life. Go before you're ready. Which I think is like, and it's something that has completely changed my outlook on a lot of different things since I started being in acting classes. And the same kind of like instinctual, like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to jump into this group of people and say what? You know what I mean? You like not having like, you know what I mean? That kind of freak out happens in your everyday lives, and like, or happens in my life all the time. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go before I'm ready. This is not planned. Might not even be a smart idea, but I'm just going to do it. So I thought that really kind of tied in with what you were saying before, especially with Amy Poehler's quote. And I think she might have gotten that from the same kind of
I'm sure.
thing. So
that's much a part of her molding and her, the way that she lives. That's cool. It's a good mantra to have.
Yes,
for sure. Anyone else want to share anything? I know my mom was like trying to get on. She's waving her hand, but she's muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. I fixed it.
She's delayed.
Oh my God. I gotta have a technician in the house.
Okay, so what do you want
Okay. I'm not sure I have the statement correct, but I have the goals. So I'm just looking through my notes, all of my notes. I made 10 pages of notes.
Good job.
Okay, thank you. So my number one priority is how you said to write, like the beginning, is to, and then I wrote, take the lead on my health and family and business by doing continuing education, network, and accepting myself the way I am so I can be a better person. This will help me become stronger financially, physically, spiritually, and mentally. Is that what you're asking me to write? Pretty much from my goals? Okay.
Yeah.
So my goal list ended up being 12 instead of 10.
Well, that's okay.
Because, well, you said, like, add in things from all places, but as we all know, my primary focus every day is, bringing home the bacon, making it happen. So that tends to be where all of my energy, thoughts, and plans go to. I don't think about doing anything other than just working from 8 to 5 every single day, and once that's over, and then I go, oh crap, I missed out on this, and that. So I think my goal list kind of reflects those things, because and this is just like from while everybody was talking, I wrote them. So number one, obviously, to have plenty of money for all of the bills, and then number two is savings. Obviously, if there's enough money for all the bills, there'll be savings as well. Of an affordable health care plan, a beach house, because we love that.
Yes.
And then for 3 years now, I've been talking about selling the franchises. So, I mean, I feel like if I do the education and the networking, and then the franchising will just keep coming. It'll, I have things in place, but nothing is finished and followed through, because every day I have to work and be there instead of being the planning behind the scenes, doing all that. So, paying off all of the existing bills is on the goal list. I mean, it's random and it's all over the place, but whatever. Workout time, get a yoga video or a treadmill, do something. Everybody who knows me is like, don't you work all day long, like physical hard work? But like today, my back is out. If I did strength training or something, would that happen more? I don't know. So it's like, okay, now I have to do that and try it out, because I used to and now I don't. So I feel lousy. Time for fun, like plenty of time for fun. Make a plan to have fun at least once a day, or hang, like I just got a notification on my phone that we're scheduled to go to dinner with friends Thursday night. No, and that's right after I wrote that down. Is that the universe working or what? More time to communicate with my family. This is, here we are. This is awesome. Continuing education. Again, the time situation, the money situation, it all goes together with the continuing education.
What kind of continuing education specifically? Because there are some online resources, and if you're not, like, Coursera is one.
Right.
There are a couple others.
I have the list. I know what I want to do, and I know how I need to do it. But again, I need the time to do it and follow through. Don't spread myself.
Can I offer you a reframe on the time?
Yeah.
Okay, so time is a thought, right? Time is a thought. Let's think of time as a thought instead of a boundary and like a tangible thing, right? So if you think of time as a thought, that shifts a lot, right? Because it says, okay, I have all the time in the world to do everything I need to do, and it will get done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who else cleans their bathroom at 10:45? Me. Because I have to. I get it done.
What if you didn't have? What if no one died because the bathroom wasn't cleaned at 10:45?
Oh, it needed it. It needed it. I had to do it. No, nobody's gonna die over it. But I wasn't doing anything else, and it had to get done, so I did it. So I'm not complaining about it. Just that's how I chose to spend 15 minutes. You know. But the next one is don't spread yourself so thin. Mm-hmm. And that's not an actual like goal statement. That's kind of a reminder to myself to it's okay to say no. It's okay to make choices. Mm-hmm. And I think it seems like all the other girls who are talking are saying I wish I could do these other things, and it's okay to say no to some things and yes to things. And you know, I just feel like women today don't put themselves first. Mm-hmm. And that's where we maybe need to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. Like Stevie said, I always say fill yourself up first. So
yeah, because you give it all away, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You have nothing left for yourself.
Right. And you don't have anything really, it's not in highest service to other people either to show up with an empty cup, right? You're like giving from an empty cup. That visual is not of highest service, right? It's of highest service to fill up your cup and then be able to give even more and to create higher energy for yourself so that you're able to contribute that. One thing I was going to say about the one goal where you said don't spread yourself too thin, is there a way that you could positively reword that in a way that means create more balance, maybe would be a good way to say it, or make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I mean, going back to like the very beginning, where were you in December 2013? Mm-hmm. I felt like I was on death's doorstep because I was doing and doing and doing and doing and not setting those boundaries for other people to run my world and taking advantage or whatever of my time. So compared to this December, I've had more help and set the boundaries, and people respect me and my time from the outside world, not so much like the kids and the dog, you know, the husband. But they are getting better because I have really, really stuck to setting limitations on my schedule. I'm not taking calls during dinner. I'm not doing the things I used to always do because I felt like I earned the privilege and permitted myself to accept that choice that I determined I was making that change as of last year. I'm not letting people run my life. I'm going to run my life. So that difference right there is kind of like, you know, I said no to waste of time activities. I said no to a lot. But in the meantime, I have seen it really paid off. I'm making 3 times more this year than I did last year, financially, money-wise. I have better sleep at night. I have more time on the weekends to kind of choose what I want to do, and those, you know, those things are definitely improved. So I think it's just kind of like maybe set my boundaries again, like reset those self-care boundaries and like what am I not going to allow in my life sort of thing. I don't know how to word it any other, like just by telling you that story, maybe you can help me reword it.
Yeah.
You know, take care of myself first is definitely the number one thing, for sure.
So maybe it looks like in like an affirmative statement, I am taking care of myself first and creating boundaries so that I can fill myself up. Well, hold on. That was, you know what I mean. Not twice, but yeah.
Okay.
So I am creating the boundaries so that I can say no to the things that don't matter and yes to the things that light me up and fill myself up first. Does that sound better? Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to put it into words. That's why I was asking you to help me make it into a statement, like a positive affirmation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
Did I do a good job?
You did a good job.
Thanks. I'm going to mute you again so somebody else can share.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anyone else feel called to share?
What are we sharing exactly, Em?
Your empower goal, or if you have any questions, or anything interesting that came up for you, or the most valuable part of today.
Sorry, I was just asking. I don't know. If you want me to, it doesn't matter if it's interesting. I guess what I think is interesting is that your empower goal. I took it less of like, because I have like an internship too that I want to get, but I took it less of that way and more of kind of like a emotional, psychological, spiritual goal. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like a top-down goal rather than a bottom-up goal.
Yeah.
So mine is basically, be more conscientious and aware of my own emotions and more in touch with my emotions, so I can better become a counselor and I can get the internship that I want at a hospital.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, that does allow the other things to happen easily, right? Like if you're in touch with your emotions and you're feeling more like into yourself and getting to know more of what's actually going on with you, that allows you to show up in a new way and show up as the person that you want to be and the professional that you want to be in those roles that you're seeking. So it sounds like, I mean, I can't see how that wouldn't improve every area of your life. So
I know, right?
Not you personally, just in general.
I know what you mean.
Okay. So does anyone else want to? Oh yeah, Rach, go ahead.
I love the idea of this like 10 solid goals because I feel like when I approach a new year, I always have this like it's way too big of a picture. It's not something that I could ever it's not a tangible thing. So having each of these things and thinking about looking back on the year, having accomplished these things is super exciting and feels a lot more attainable.
Great. Yay. Do you want to share with us what your empower goal was?
Well, I'm actually having trouble because I think that my empower goal should be move to the East Coast. But because I think it will make me, I mean, that's where I feel at home, and I think being settled and having the kind of job that I could have there, DC specifically, would help everything else happen. But I also don't feel like I have total control over that. So.
Do you mean because if you don't get a job there, that it might not be a good idea? Okay. So can you tell me a couple of your other goals then?
Sure. Run a half marathon. Play Raindrop Prelude on the piano, which is the thing I was going to play next after I quit.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Find a church that I feel connected to. Save enough money to travel. Do a headstand in yoga.
Very nice.
Make more of a connection with my family. Cook more than I eat out. And make myself proud in my job, whatever that is.
Okay. So reading those over again, is there anything that pops out to you other than moving to DC that might help the other things, or help you show up in a different way, kind of like Izzy was saying, like help you show up in a new way that would allow everything else to become easier?
I don't know. I just picture all of these things happening in DC. You know what I mean?
Well, then that's fine. I mean, you can move to DC and not have a job there, right? Like, that's not a terrible thing.
I don't have any money. I'll starve to death and be homeless.
But you could move and then find, like, I'm saying, like, you don't have to have a job before you move, right? Like, you could find a job once you get there.
Yeah. I guess it should be more like,
I mean, if anything else, you could nanny in DC, right?
yeah, maybe it is.
Between jobs, it's not, like, that's a possible solution. I'm sure there are a million more. So.
You're right.
Pays so well in DC. Okay, I'm going away now.
Good to know. Okay, no, that was good. That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. So that can totally be your empowered goal. Beautiful.
Or Charleston.
Yeah, or that. Okay. Anyone else? Last call. All good. Okay. So I want to let you know that I currently have 3 one-on-one coaching spots open in my roster for this month, and I anticipate that they'll be filled in the next 10 days. So if you want to truly make 2015 your best year ever and get the support and additional tools you need to yield the results you desire, then let's talk. These spots won't be available again for about 6 to 7 months, and that's if the current clients decide not to renew their spot. So if you're live on this call, you'll actually receive a 20% discount off of my normal rates as a gift for attending tonight. And you can set up a 60-minute free Empower session with me on my website, emilycassel.com. It's right here. And I'll also put the link in the video recording below the video recording and send it out via email with the replay. And of course, if you know anyone else who might be interested in working with me one-on-one, or is looking for a coach, or is looking for that kind of relationship, please feel free to pass this information along to them. I love connecting with new people. So thank you so much for being here tonight. It really means so much to me that so many of you took the time out of your busy schedules today to join me and invest that time in improving your life and making these big, big changes in the next year coming up. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.